Hey everybody, it's Chris and welcome back to the channel. April Lauren uploaded today, so I wanted to stay up to date on my main girls here. I did do Alex's video yesterday, and after that I did not make another video. I have a very sore throat. My tonsils are very swollen. It's not common for me to get a sore throat like this, so I'm actually starting this video to try to get part of it done, and then I'm going to stop it and go run down to the doctor so she can take a look at me in case I need medicine, because normally a sore throat I would just stick it out, but my kiddo is on an antibiotic cream right now because he somehow somewhere got into impetigo, and he has impetigo, and you know, it's a little rash. It's very common in kids, the doctor said, but it's caused by a staph or a strep virus or bug, you know what I mean? So and the fact that I was around him and I, you know, kiss him on the cheek and kiss him on the forehead at night, and now I have this. I'm just want to make sure it's not strep throat, so in case I need a medicine, or more importantly, so I can get better, so I don't give it to him. So yeah, so it is really hard to do the videos. I just ended up kind of chilling out and not talking or doing much yesterday, but I am going to try to get this April video out and at least the Amber video out. I will let you guys know what's going on. I do apologize. So I don't know how much I'll have to say. I have to do foodie videos too, but she's pumping out so much stuff. I can't keep up right now, especially just with the throat. So that being said, let's listen to a couple minutes of April's video here. It's her 3 weeks after weight loss surgery update and weigh-in after duodenal switch. Hello, soft foods. So yeah, she's up to where she can eat soft foods now. So that's good.
This week until today I've had a little pain, but I haven't had pain. I've been doing my walks and enjoying those. I am eager to be cleared to work out. Will come at 6 weeks. So that's only 3 more weeks.
I hope for her it's good that she wants to walk and do exercises. Even when April lost all the weight before, she was very focused on activity as a means to kind of, I think, maintain the weight, and clearly that can't happen. It's difficult. So I hope she is getting, like I said in all the other videos, her therapy to be able to, you know, control the food part of it as well. But I know she wants to be active, and it'll be good for her to be able to get back into that. But if she just walks and walks her dogs and sticks to her diet, she will have huge success with this.
In the beginning, that sounds like such a long time, but in 3 more weeks, I'll be able to scuba dive. I'll be able to go to the gym, and I'll be able to do whatever I need to do. I'll be back.
I want to see her do all the things in Hawaii. I want to see the boating and the scuba diving and the hiking. I do. There's so much cool stuff she could take us to see there. Living vicariously through these girls, you know what I mean? And at least she goes out and does stuff. There's no hope for Amber or Foodie, but you know, we still have April and a couple of the other ones
at work in 3 more weeks. So 3 more weeks, life will be pretty normal for me, and I'm excited to get to that stage and that routine. But right now, I'm
your new normal, April, new normal.
Having to learn how to live my life, which is interesting. I am relieved to have made a permanent change. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that I got over myself and that I am here now. And
the problem is like, okay, while yes, technically her digestive tract is rerouted permanently, that's the thing. And she will always have to worry about the malabsorption issues and things like that. She can, in fact, stretch that pouch out over time and end up overeating a lot again, being able to eat damn near all the stuff she ate before and gain all the weight she loses back. We've seen it. How many people do we see on my 600-pound life that are back up to over 600 pounds because they had surgery and they ate their way out of it? Look at Alexandra Rodriguez. So, you know what I mean? It's a permanent change as far as the anatomical changes, but she can in fact gain that weight back. So I hope she really doesn't become solely reliant on exercise, and I hope she makes the food changes.
And things are going to just continue to get better. And I am looking forward to that. I think one thing that is going to be a struggle, what do you think about when you don't have to constantly think about losing or gaining weight? I've spent my whole life, like that's been my focus, is I've either been losing weight or I'm checked out and gaining weight. And I am grateful that when I reached my low point, I reached out for help. And
yeah, she needs to find that balance to where she can maintain and do it in a way that is general lifestyle, like food as well as movement and stuff. Because if they do have a child or something like that, she's not going to be able to exercise 3-4 hours a day. And I didn't have weight problems until later in life here, until the past like 10 years, 12, 13, maybe 14 years. And even out of those, for like 3 or 4, I was thin and at the healthiest I'd ever been in my adult life. I was very lean and active and athletic and fit my whole life. I'm like being punished for it now. I didn't, and I guess it's like, if you've never been there, you don't understand. I was that skinny chick that was like working out hours a week because I was a skater and I had muscle and I had metabolism and I could eat what I want. And I just like would say, oh, if you want to lose weight, just don't eat so much. Just stop eating that. Like, how hard is it? God, I didn't realize how hard it was. And then you develop disordered eating and stuff. And then later on you gain weight and you're like, oh, I get it now. So yeah.
Now I'm here. that evolved.
Oh, and the what's in my cup, I normally have my hot coffee with my stuff in it. This one is just like a nice diet soda full of ice, cold. It's just cold, trying to soothe my throat.
To weight loss surgery, and I'm grateful. This week, my husband went back to work, and so I was, more independent while he was gone. And then we knew right after he went back to work, he would be going out of town for a bit. So I also...
Kenny leaves a lot. Like, I'm sorry to stop it right there, but Kenny goes out of town a lot. Like, he is always, even no matter where they live, he always goes away a lot. And I think she has a hard time handling that. I don't think she deals with that well. And I hope she talks to a therapist about coping mechanisms, because I don't think she likes to be alone. And then he's gone and now she's really far away from her family. That's difficult, and she doesn't have children or anything to be with. So I hope she's getting therapy, and I hope at her job and stuff she's getting out there making friends and has people in her life in Hawaii physically that can be there to help her out.
So got to talk to one of my good friends, Sarah. She has a...
Okay, future Chris, I'm back an hour later from the doctor. I do have strep throat, so that's why it's been hurting and bugging me so much. I can't tell you, it's been probably at least a decade since I've had strep throat. And I probably got it because the kiddo was exposed to Impetigo. Now, he is on an antibiotic, so he's okay, and he's visiting his grandparents. But she put me on an antibiotic for 5 or 6 days, and then if we need more, I'll go back and they'll reassess and I'll get more. But it should do the trick. I take supplements for my Lyme disease for like general antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial properties, and just for overall immune boosting. I haven't taken those in a few days, so I did take some this morning on an empty stomach, and I'm going to take some right now to help boost, help give me a little extra kick. So anyways, let's get back into what April was saying.
YouTube channel. I'm going to circle back around because her channel has been helpful, but having her as a friend is amazing. 2 days into this week, I got to meet with my dietitian, and that I was looking forward to that so much. I was so tired of liquids. And
if you want to know what I'm taking elderberry, which even his doctor said is, they don't know why it works, but it is clinically proven. Black cumin seed oil, a mushroom complex that also has astragalus, is that how you say that? Ginger, and I'm taking some extra wild oregano oil. There's 2 different types of oregano oil. You want the carvacrol one, and I'm taking an extra monolaurin. So yeah, and a zinc. I took a zinc.
And protein,
It's key.
I'm going to have like a strained relationship with protein shakes, I think. I say that, but I still find myself thinking that like it would be just easier if I just went ahead and had protein shakes.
Yeah, my throat hurts so bad. This would be a good time to fast and just live on protein shakes, right? I don't know if I will, but yeah, I'm glad she's moving into the soft foods and stuff. Like I said, it's once you get back to where you can eat the regular things where it becomes a slippery slope. You start getting those cravings back. The physical hunger comes back. You start getting allow yourself little tastes of this and that. And then that lights up that center in your brain, right?
So, but I'm trying to not supplement now because when I go back to work, I know I'm going to end up supplementing.
What are you doing, April? I know she's not going to tell us, but I want to know where she's working.
Let me dive into a little bit of what she sent me. Part of my program included meeting with a dietitian, and I'm excited. I didn't realize at the time that I would still be meeting with her after surgery. I was scared because I didn't think that was going to be a thing, and I was like, oh, like all of the things that she was covering.
I think that's a really good thing. I'm glad that her program does that.
Pre-surgery, I'm like, this is all great, and it's stuff that I've never thought of. But I was like, what's going to happen when I'm
doggy ears
putting it into action? And so I'm really relieved that I get to have one-on-one sessions with her now that I'm post-op. And I don't know how many there will be total, but I know that I will have another one 6 weeks out. So 6 weeks out, I will be cleared to go back to work. I'll be cleared to work out.
And you got to watch at work because like offices and stuff, people tend to like bring in all the junk and stuff like that. And people shame people for eating healthy. So I hope that doesn't happen with April. April, dude, you need to walk the dogs more. The doggo back there still looks overweight.
Clear to scuba dive should my heart desire, which it will because I love it. And I will also have another meeting
scuba diving
with my dietitian. And I'm very relieved. So we had, before you do your blood work, first you go to an info session, then you do your blood work, then you meet with the dietitian, and she went over so much to help prepare me mentally for the changes that would come.
And that's good, but you also need to be seeking therapy. I wonder if she's seeking therapy or getting therapy, but she's like I said, April's very prideful, and I wonder if she's just has too much pride to admit that she actually needed mental health help, like serious mental health help. And there's no shame in that. Disordered eating is a bitch to take care of. I know because I have it. I've dealt with it since I was like 14 or something like that, 15 years old. So like, I wouldn't shame her in the least for saying, hey, I need this help with that. That actually, it takes a strong person to say, hey, I can't do this on my own. I need help.
And when I spoke to her this week, it was so interesting because the way I take things and internalize them, sometimes my fear, I think, like makes it so scary. Like I thought, and I talked about this last week, I thought I wasn't going to be able to drink like normal, like that I was going to have like these teeny tiny sips. Like, and you are supposed to sip, but you're not supposed to gulp. And those are quite different things. But in my mind, if I wasn't gulping, then I was like, not taking any liquid in. So, and that's just not the case.
I think she's overthinking a little bit of this too much. Just April, take little sips of your drink throughout the day. Don't, just because it feels like you're not getting hydrated. I think I know that's what she means. She feels like she's not getting any liquid unless she's actually taking a big gulp and feels like that hydration. But the little sips add up over time, girl. They do.
And it's, yeah. So after our talk, she sent me a summary, and the summary was just the guidelines. And I'll read it. Chew, chew, chew. You cannot overchew your food. I'm sure I've said this before, but it wasn't until I started preparing for weight loss surgery that I realized that I don't chew my food that much.
That's a lot of people actually, and people I know with like overeating, who overeat and who binge eat and stuff like that. We eat really fast, especially like at least here in America, our schedules tend to be crazy and hectic. We don't get that time to really, a lot of us, to sit and eat and take time and enjoy our food. We are eating on the go. We are grabbing things and eating in the car. We're in a hurry. Plus, we're just told to eat so much and our servings are so big. We just take big bites and we don't chew them enough. And then we overeat. So that doesn't surprise me. That's not just her. That's a lot of people. I know I eat way too fast and I have to be mindful about that. Same thing,
Like most of the time.
And chewing not only helps with the digestive process. I'm sorry I stopped there. But it also slows you down and gives you time because the slower you eat, the faster your brain can catch up with your stomach and say, "Hey, I'm full. You don't need to eat anymore." It helps prevent overeating as well.
Like I put it in and then it goes down. Like, of course, some things I have to chew, but I did not chew my food properly. And I don't think that everyone has to do the amount of chewing that I now do. But what I was doing was such a small fraction of this. So they recommend chewing at least 30 times. Like, essentially it should be like much in your mouth. That sounds gross. It makes my stomach turn saying that, but like it should be like you curate it.
Well, that too, and it will be easier on her pouch, on her stomach. It'll be easier on her whole digestive process.
Before you swallow it. Not over chew your food. She says, drink, but do not drink while you're eating. And this is the hardest thing. Something that's interesting.
Yeah, I would find that hard. I drink all the time when I'm eating, and I feel like I have to take a few drinks and then bites and then wash it down. You know what I mean? This would be hard for me.
So I think one of my fullness cues is feeling thirsty. And I don't know if I'm actually thirsty, but I'll get to a point, I'm petting Chipper. I'll get to a point where I want to have a drink. And I've noticed if I back off and I don't eat anymore and I just sit there, then I'm done. Like when I get that feeling. And I just didn't realize that was going to be the case. And other things like sighing is a fullness cue.
Yeah, it's literally just it's weird that she says that, because I remember I had this cousin who was like an older lady and she was really overweight. And she lived in another state, but she would call and talk to my mom like a couple times a month and stuff like that. And she had called my mom and said she was working on dieting and losing weight. And she said, "I'm not changing that much stuff." So my mom was like, okay, great, cool, whatever. Then they came back to visit, later in the year or something like that. And this woman had lost so much weight. And my mom said, "Okay, well, what are you doing?" And she said, "I quit eating every time I eat whatever I want. I'm eating. And whenever I go, like you do when you're kind of like, at that point where it's like, you feel like you gotta, work at the rest of it." She said the minute she sighed or went, "Oh," or like that, like yeah, man, I'm good, she stopped eating. And she said she would physically push the plate away and get up and take the food away from herself. And that essentially was just her listening to her body and listening to her fullness cues and cutting her portions and cutting her calories. And this woman lost at least 60 pounds this way. So that, yes, that's the first time I'd ever heard of that. But this woman didn't know any of this. She just said, every time I go, "Oh boy, yeah, I could be done," she'd stop. And that takes a lot of self-control. Whenever you're eating something that's good, you get to the point where you don't want to eat anymore because you're hungry. It's because you like the stuff, right? So good on her. But yeah, no.
Deep breaths. Oh, no, I'm yawning. A runny nose, which I never had a runny nose, but
really,
there's just so many things that
a runny nose is a sign. See, today I learned. I didn't know that. I like to put a lot of spice and like cayenne pepper in a lot of my food because it doesn't give a flavor, but it just gives spice. So my nose runs a lot when I eat. I would probably undereat if I did that. Maybe that's what I should do.
There are fullness cues that I don't know if I had them or not before because I never paid attention. So it is very important. The next thing, well, part of that drink was also, I went way far away from this list just now. I went way far. Okay, getting back to the list because I just took a detour.
She
She says, when you drink, sip, don't gulp. or use straws. And I miss drinking with a straw. The next thing she says is stop eating when you feel full. If you keep eating, you're going to get sick. And then she says get enough protein at all meals. Eat protein first. She does say
protein is priority. Yeah.
That we can continue to use a liquid protein supplement. And then she says eat several small meals throughout the day and take our vitamins. And then she laid out a menu. And
people even say that like the vitamins, like sometimes the pouch is so small that just taking the vitamins will fill up your stomach and you feel like you've eaten a meal. Like that's what I've heard, because your stomach is so small, it fills up quite easily.
My goodness. So I was pretty disappointed that until all of my restrictions are lifted, I can't go back to work. And that I was super disappointed. And I probably could. I know I could do this and work. When I saw her sample meal plan, you made us make one of these. And it still didn't click. It did not click because I hadn't experienced my own my physical limitations on eating. So like I made a meal plan and I'm like, this is going to be easy. No, it is not. After surgery, it is not easy.
Those meal plans, like that's why a lot of people think like OMAD or 2 meals a day or something like that is more doable, because you don't have to do so much meal prepping and eat so many times. That thing where you have to eat like 4, 5, 6 times a day, that's actually a lot of work.
And then trying to get to here is that, so this, she has us 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Like every hour there is something that I'm supposed to be consuming. And if you don't do that, then you can't get it all in. And it's overwhelming, because when I did 75 hard, I could maybe be half a gallon in and still have half a gallon left. And I could just chug all that. Like I could just throw it all back, like half a gallon of water. And that's not the point of 75 hard, but that's sure enough what I did sometimes. I don't know if it was a full half gallon, but it'd be a lot of water and I could just be like, but to continue.
Don't let her fool you. I don't believe for 1 minute this woman did 75 hard back then. Did it the whole way through the first time. No screw ups. Didn't have to restart. Just, it didn't happen. It's a challenging program. I would like to do it someday. I would literally like to try it. It's a beast.
Then it has high protein foods to focus on, and then something she calls sticky foods. So foods that are not recommended. Then she has foods that are not recommended and that we definitely shouldn't be eating at this stage of the diet, which is soft foods. But I thought that I was moving on from liquid to puree, and I am so happy that I misunderstood that, because this is not a puree diet that I am on. It is soft food. So she says fork tender is what I should focus on. So when I stab it with a fork, it should fall apart. Or like ground beef, I can do ground turkey, and I have been loving fish. So it's interesting to me too, when I was cleared, my meeting with her was first thing in the morning, and I just continued. I think I just felt overwhelmed because one, I thought I was moving on to puree. And then 2,
that's actually really good, because like ground meats and stuff like that, I love ground meat. I pick ground beef over like steak. She just has to make sure she gets the really lean ones. But I guess that kind of makes it a little easier so that you don't have to puree everything.
I felt scared. I don't know why. And feeling that fear kind of made me feel overwhelmed. So I didn't even eat. I just continued with like liquid stuff, I continued the liquid diet until dinner time. And then I made a plate of food. And when I say a plate of food, I literally have like a tiny appetizer plate that I use.
Is that a lot though? Can you eat that much as your first meal? Guys, anyone in the comments who has had it, is that a normal portion after a duodenal switch? Duodenal switch, however you say it. That looks like a lot to me, but maybe it's just the size of the plate. I feel like she could only eat a few bites of that. And you gotta kind of watch though, because peas are a higher starch vegetable. Oh, they're soft though. I understand why she's eating them. Same with mandarin oranges, are kind of higher sugar, but I'm sure they're on her approved food list. I hope they are. Just let me know. I think what it is she's afraid to eat because she knows food is her problem, and she just refused to acknowledge it last time, and would not say, like, I have a problem with food. I eat too much. I don't eat the best. I overeat. I sneak eat. I'm not being honest with myself or you guys. Like, she was so adamant, and oh, counting calories will make me get an eating disorder and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, so I think that's partly why she's nervous, because food is 100% April's problem. So I hope she's in a better place with it.
What she broke down for me too was that I should have 3 tablespoons of protein, 2 tablespoons of a carb, and 2 tablespoons of a vegetable, ideally. Okay. Like, I don't have to have the carb. I don't have to have the vegetable, because right now all I can eat are canned vegetables. But yeah, so for my first meal, I did do the 3, 2, and 2, and I was so happy.
I would think like green beans would be better than peas though, because they're lower starch. But I love myself peas. Don't get me wrong, but
I had like 2 bites and I was like,
okay, yeah.
I know. Wait, it took me. I ate that over 3 periods, like 3 meals. So it's almost like that 1 meal was 3 snacks. For the first few days, definitely was still using protein substitutes like protein yogurt, and I will continue to use things like that. But I am trying to get my protein in from food sources, because she also said that something that can hold people up is that they don't do the whole protein diet, that they'll do liquid stuff, and then they will eat what she calls like slider foods. Slider foods are things that go down really easy. They don't stay in your digestive tract very long. Your body breaks them down easy, so they don't sit. Like, protein sits heavier in the stomach. Chipper, stop, baby.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons it's more satiating and fills you up for longer too.
Put her ball over there and she wants to go get it, and I'm not about to let her, because then she chews it and now it squeaks. I chewed it so much she has a squeaking ball. I wish you could see her. Yes, her so precious. You can see her little nose. Anyway, so the slider foods. Chippy, go get in your bed, baby. I am such a habitual person. If I start doing things now that are not ideal, then I'll continue to do that, because that will be the way that I do things. And so
you really have to be strict with yourself, April, and you have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to be here's the thing though, I'm kind of like that too, in the sense I am really rigid. I'm like a very all or nothing mentality, and if I mess up one thing, I feel like, oh shit, I screwed up, I gotta like start all over. I've always been that way. But she needs to learn to like be flexible with herself and say, look, okay, I screwed this up, but I can change it, like starting tomorrow. I can fix it. I can adjust. And she's kind of got that rigid mindset, I think, like I do.
So having, like my whole body has been reset, essentially, the way it digests and processes food and liquids.
Literally.
My mind has also had a reset, and also my hormones.
Well, I hope so, because like I said, there's no pressure on you, April, but we need a win in girl world. And out of this crazy freaking race, you are the only horse we have left, girl, that could win and do the thing. No hope for Amber, no hope for Foodie, no hope for Alex, no hope for Anna. A lot of A's, huh? April, it all comes down to you. Having faith that you will do this. Like I said, and like people in my comments have said, we need a win in girl world. We really, truly do.
I've had a reset. Like, everything has been reset. And so I'm just taking the opportunity to do things as prescribed. And
good.
Hopefully that leads me to the best case scenario and down the best paths for me.
It will. And just be honest. Like, tell them if you feel like you need to keep seeing your dietitian. Tell them if you need therapy and stuff. Say, look, I'm having issues. I'm getting back these intrusive thoughts of food when my hunger comes back and stuff. Just be honest. And it seems like it's a good program that would provide her with the things she needs. So I just hope she's not too arrogant to just say those things and continue to get the help.
For me to have continued success, and I want to maintain the most amount of muscle that I can. I really don't want to lose my hair, so
yeah, because like April's hair is her pride and joy, and I know it's kind of like that with like Amber and stuff too, but Amber's hair is really looking bad and getting thin. April has nice hair. Like, her hair is nice, it's healthy, it's thick. I don't want to see you lose your hair either, girl.
My teeth. Like, I want to do things that will help my body heal. And if getting protein from fish is better than protein drinks, then that's what I would like. However, I'm not against protein drinks, and I will have them again. Right now, I am over protein drinks, but
She's had them for so long. It's like, I don't want to see another one. I can understand that.
so I probably wouldn't do a protein drink anyway. I'd probably do like some Greek yogurt or
Oh,
I don't
love
know,
Greek yogurt.
protein things that come in other ways. With the duodenal switch, my protein recommendation was 80 to 90 grams of protein per day. And so that is just hard to get in when you're eating 3 tablespoons of protein max at a time. And considering that I started the week off not able to do 3 tablespoons, but days 2 and 3, it shifted quite a bit. Like I was able, it's like I think my body was in shock when I first put whole food in it. It's like, what is this? What is this? And then it's like, oh, we remember. But thankfully, it was not like, we remember, give me more. It was just like, we remember, we can process. But
that could happen, April. That probably will come back. That give me more. Ooh, I like this. I want more. It will come back. So we have to be mindful of that.
You better take your time, because I'm going to talk to you and you're not going to understand my language. And by that, I just mean, I thought I was going to experience, like if I ate too much, that I would experience like pain, like significant pain. Or
do you experience pain, guys and dolls? Anybody in the comment section who has had the surgery, if you overeat, do you feel physical pain? I know you get sick and you experience dumping syndrome and you puke, but is there physical pain with it?
Or that I would be like vomiting. And I guess it's possible I just haven't eaten too much.
Well, don't test that theory, girl. Try not to do that. It doesn't sound
and
fun.
I did take it super easy those first few days, and I'm still taking it pretty easy. I'll just divide. So like if I make something and I do any of the indicators that I'm full, or I just don't feel like eating more right that instant, then I'll just divide it up. The hard part about that, and what's kind of tripping me up now, I feel like it's making getting water in a challenge. So it's like there's this battle. It's like battle of the belly. It's like,
it seems like you'd constantly have to be sipping on water or a protein drink or nibbling. It seems like it would be a lot. Like it would consume a lot of your day and a lot of your mental energy.
do you want water or do you want protein? And I'm like, I need both. I need both. But that's probably why she still had that liquid protein in, because the liquid protein gives you both. It'll give me
that's like kind of like the best of both worlds. You get hydrated and you get the protein. So
liquid, some hydration, and it'll give me protein, but it is not the preferred for either. Tilapia has quite a bit of protein in it, and I bought some of that and have been eating that.
You're in Hawaii. Can you imagine all of the amazing fresh seafood she can probably have access to? Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I wish I lived near the ocean, but I love the forest too. So someday I need to move to the Pacific Northwest or Alaska, but somewhere where I can have the best of both worlds.
That, and it's really good. And I have done tuna, and I have done salmon, and I have done ground beef at this point, and all of them are good. And they all sit about the same. Tuna is the only one. I have just been doing the packs of tuna, and mostly because I've had them for a while and I don't want them to expire. So they're still good now, but like sooner than the cans I have. The cans I have are good for years. The packets are getting close to their expiration date. So I wanted to use those up, but they're drier because they're not sitting in like that liquid. And so I wonder if that's why, but my body definitely gives me a little, I don't know, it's not bad. It sits different. It sits different than the other. So like the tilapia, the salmon, the ground beef, they all feel full after.
So with the tuna, it's like her stomach's not liking it as much.
My 2 or 3 tablespoons. It's very interesting because before I would just eat until whatever I had portioned out for myself was gone. And now I'm very in touch with what my body's doing and feeling when I.
That's important because she used to eat too much. She would portion out too much. Like quite often she would eat more along the portions that her husband would need to eat. And so this is good because it like puts the brakes on that. And you gotta learn, because in America, like we don't, and I always speak just from America, because I'm American. And we have so much portion distortion here, and we're told to eat so much and so frequently. We just we have a very skewed mindset of what a proper portion actually is. So that's a big part of why we have such a weight problem in our country.
I'm eating. So I'll eat and then I'll give it a second and then I'll take another bite and then I give it a second. Also, I think I've always drank a lot. So like a lot of water, a lot of whatever I'm drinking, I've always just drank so much. And I think separating it out has been quite helpful and may have, I wonder if separating it out prior to having weight loss surgery would have been helpful because I know now. So if I don't just feel satisfied, which sometimes that's the case, and that will usually come before. So it'll be like, oh, I'm full. But sometimes I miss that cue. And if I miss that cue, the next thing is I really want to take a drink of something. And as soon as I think that, I'm like, oh, I'm done. And that's good. Also, sometimes I'll sigh and then I'll know if I drank too soon after because I'll hiccup. So if I eat, because I thought you only had to wait 15 minutes. It was on one of the paper, but after talking to the dietitian, it's actually more like 20 to 30. And so my sweet spot is about 25 minutes. She said to just play around. She's like, you don't have to wait 30. 20 should be good, but like you don't want to drink too soon. And that isn't my favorite. And one of the times I think I had eaten tuna, I drank right at 20 minutes after, and it was painful. Like,
That's interesting. Like, I mean, it's definitely a whole new way of eating. Like, she really has to change a lot of things. It changes a lot of things. I think it's a good thing for her for sure. As far as like food satisfaction, a lot of us eat like we don't eat just to be nourished and for like purpose. People look for that like that mental and emotional like satisfaction from food too. So this surgery in a large degree is going to take that away from her, and I hope she can deal with that and find other things to get satisfaction from.
I shouldn't have done it, but I did. So lesson learned. I also appreciate that a lot of these lessons, I feel like I'm just having to learn one time because the pain is so great. I can definitely be a little dense. Like I have to learn my lessons, and in order
She said it, not us. She said that, not us.
to like internalize, I have to learn my lessons like a hard way typically, and that's just the life that I live. I'm hard-headed in some ways.
April is very hard-headed in a lot of ways.
Looking down, I just wanted to move on because I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable talking about being hard-headed, but I am. I can be a very determined and hard-headed individual. So anyway, like I said, I'm uncomfortable. So I'm going to move on now. Let's go ahead and talk about my weight. So I was really worried that I was going to not have any weight loss this week, but I am happy to share that I did.
Why? Is she worried she wouldn't have weight loss? Because she went back to more solid foods? I mean, as long as she's just replacing the shakes with them and not like overdoing it, she would still lose. Maybe that's like a realistic fear a lot of people who have the surgery have. Like, they're afraid that once they can start eating again, it's like gonna come to a halt.
So last week I weighed in at 294.8. This week I weighed in at 290.2. Another 4 points.
April, you're showing the scale. That's a little bit better, but that's not 100%. Honestly, though, at least her scale is see-through, so we see that it's on a hard surface and it's not resting on towels or anything like that. So that's a step in the right direction. And 4.6, that's great. I mean, good for her. That's a good loss.
0.6 pounds gone. That puts me at almost 25 pounds down. So I am 24.5 pounds down at my 3-week post-op weigh-in, and it feels good. It feels good to be losing weight.
It has to be like daunting though too, because I know I feel like I have a lot of weight to lose, but not as much as like somebody like April. I feel bad for her in a way, because it's like I can't imagine having already lost 25 pounds and still just to get into a healthy weight range. still have to lose like 140 more around there, give or take. You know what I mean? That's daunting. So that has to weigh heavy on your mind, no pun intended. But I mean, oh,
I feel better every week.
because it's like, because I'm sorry, me stop. It's it's hard to lose weight. Like losing weight is simple, but it's not easy. If you know what I mean? And it's like me thinking about possibly wanting to lose at max maybe like 75, 80 pounds. It's daunting. So I can't imagine, you know. And then I hear in the comments you guys talking, saying, hey, you know, I've lost 120 pounds. I've lost 170 pounds. I've lost 90 pounds and I kept it all. You know, it's like you guys have, and I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. And you guys have made so many amazing, you've had so much amazing progress. It's so inspiring and I love hearing it. So put your wins in the comments, guys. I never don't want to see them. And I do, even when I don't get to react to comments and stuff, I do read through them and I do see them, and other people do. I'd like us to be a nice little support system for each other here because we love the wins here.
And I don't mean externally or just because the scale goes down. Like my body is feeling better every week and I feel more energetic and everything just gets a little easier. Like doing life gets a little easier every day, which is awesome. I think before I was so afraid of losing weight too rapidly and gaining it back because I really believed that the reason I gained weight previously back was that I lost it too fast.
And that's not true. You can lose it. It's like studies are showing it doesn't matter at the rate you lose. That doesn't affect your ability to maintain it as much as do you implement permanent lifestyle changes? Do you lose it fast because you yourself as being on a diet that you're going to quit? It's more about the lifestyle changes that you plan on maintaining after you have hit like your goal weight or gotten around where you're happy. That was the important thing. And April she just couldn't get there.
My fear of losing weight too fast and not being able to sustain the weight loss was so huge because I really thought that eating at such a deficit was going to be the reason I gained it back.
But the problem is she didn't need to, at her size, she wasn't at a point where she needed to eat at like 1,200 calories or 1,000 calories, you know, like she was when she did the protein sparing modified fast, which was insanely successful, by the way. She was eating so much and maintaining so much. She could have still eaten for a large portion of her journey, like 2,000, 2,100 calories a day. And she could have went down to where she was still at like between 15 and 1,700. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot when you eat like 3,000, almost 4,000 calories a day. But, she could have taken it down in steps, and you just have to realize sometimes, do I want to be a certain weight? I'm a certain body like build. I can only eat this much. Like, she wants to be a certain size and maintain a certain healthy weight. She's like me. She's only 5'1", something like that. Unless you are super active, like you have an insanely physically active job and you're working out a ton, if you have parts of your day in your job that are for the most part fairly sedentary, you might have to maintain between 13 to 1,500 calories a day. That's just reality. It's how it is. But she acted like she had to be in a much bigger deficit than she actually needed to be, and she like freaked herself out
because I felt that was the reason I had gained it back in part in the past.
No, you gained it back because you were depending on exercise and being active to counteract the eating, and that doesn't work. Clearly, that was the problem. Oops, sorry, I just hit the mic, guys.
And the reality is that when I get depressed and in that state of mind, it didn't even matter. And that's hard to sit with. So I was losing weight consistently, but at a slow pace. So I did feel better, and I knew I felt better.
But April, you got to a point. See, this is where it's like kind of tricky. She got to a point where she really wasn't losing. You know, when you're still 280, 270 pounds and you're supposedly doing all this exercise and all these workout challenges and walking the dogs and doing all this and training for marathons, and you're only losing 0.6 pounds a week, and in a month you've only lost 1.2 pounds, that at that size is maintaining. And barely. If she would have stopped doing those activities, she would have in fact gained. So you know what I mean? She wasn't actually she initially made progress because she just cleaned up her diet and started moving, and she was so big that she lost some. But once she couldn't rely on that anymore, her weight loss pretty much stopped, and she had a real hard time with that. So she needs to just be honest about what she's eating, what she's doing, and be real honest with herself and with her audience about that number on that scale and what's going on. That will keep her from having to live this lie and keep up with this lie, because people pick it apart and they're going to figure it out. And I think she knows that by now. So hopefully we don't go that way again this time.
And I was doing like my mile per time every month and all of those things in the beginning, and I could chart it by that. But at the same time, it's like 3 weeks ago, I was carrying 25 extra pounds. And today I get to set that 25 pounds down. Well, not today, but like a little every day.
Yeah.
I am just setting that weight down. And because it's so close together, like I feel like I was anchored and someone cut it. And now I'm able to just swim so much further. Like I don't feel like my weight is pulling me down in the same way, even though I still have a lot of weight to lose. So much weight to lose. But
yeah, but really give yourself the win, though. Like I said, you're down 25 pounds. Own that. Be proud of that. And like I said, you did what you needed to do to get the surgery. You made the decision. It's a big decision. You took a step to make things better. And I give her credit for that. And I think she should give herself credit for that. And be proud of those 25 pounds. You know what I mean? Don't like, and I'm on to talk because I don't give myself credit for shit, but I don't want other people to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, be proud of that. Don't be too proud, you know, say, okay, this is good. I did this. Keep going, keep moving forward.
Grateful for this tool, grateful for weight loss surgery. And I am grateful for you guys and for this community. Your love and support means so much to me. I am rooting for you always. Someone else that has been incredibly helpful for me is Sarah. And I think I shared already that I talked to her. I got to talk to my friend Sarah, and it was so uplifting.
I don't know who this chick is. I don't know who this girl is.
She is one of the most lovely humans. I felt cheery. I've been catching up on her YouTube, and then I also went back and rewatched all of her stuff from when she first had her weight loss surgery. So I went back and watched things I had already watched. Plus I've moved past that, and just watching her journey and the lessons that she's learned. And it's been wonderful to see that. And then talking to her is always wonderful. She is just one of the best people.
Okay, guys, there's only a few minutes left in this video. I'm going to end this one here. I'm sorry if there's anything else she says that's relevant. I have to give my throat a break. And I'm going to drive and go get my antibiotic after I upload this for you guys. And then I do want to see if I can react to Amber's latest video. I don't even know if it's worth it, but maybe we'll see. I know she went to Pride and all that with her mom. But I appreciate you watching and listening and leaving the comments and liking and subscribing. The channel's growing slowly and steadily, and I really appreciate it. I get so much interaction in the comment section with you guys. You are just, I have a great audience here, and I think you guys just rock. If you don't have anything to say and you want to help me with the algorithm, leave an emoji in the comment. What can we do today? What can we do today? The emoji. I don't know. Leave a cow emoji. Not to be insulting, but April's back to eating ground stuff. and ground meat, and I love ground beef, and cows are cute, so let's just put a cow emoji in there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.